love to show you how to make a delicious, yummy, and very healthy pudding. I will show you how to make a recipe that you can then expand and add anything that you'd like to make this more delicious or more healthy or healing, or even just to have yummy fun. Chia seeds are the best known source of plant omega-3s. And omega-3s are the good fats that are good for heart health and many other aspects of our body. And they contribute also to hormone health, which for those of us that are aging gracefully, we need our hormones. I prepared 6 puddings already. I have a dark chocolate, and when we use raw cacao powder, that's another aspect of iron and fiber and more minerals. I have a vanilla blueberry. I have a blackberry, and berries are one of the best fruits for us to eat because they're very low in sugar. This one is green tea, and I made it with matcha tea, culinary matcha. And matcha is very high in antioxidants, which is very good when we're talking about oxidative stress, cellular oxidative stress, and aging. So this is another good, very healthy pudding. This here is vanilla and chocolate swirled, and on top I put some cacao nibs for a little crunch and some coconut flakes. And then this one here, delicious strawberries and cream. Got your strawberries in there, and I did a little float of coconut milk on top for my cream. These are some examples of what I use in my chia pudding. There are 2 different seed varieties. There's the white chia seeds and the black chia seeds. I find that it's easier for me to find the black chia seeds, and not so often can I find the white. They're very close in nutritional information. The white chia seeds have a little bit more magnesium, and they have a little bit more phosphorus than the black, so a little bit higher in the minerals. There is different sweeteners. I've got maple syrup and agave if you prefer to be vegan. And then if that's not something you follow, there's also honey. I try to stay away from any white table sugar, sometimes coconut sugar, although I find that the liquid form here will blend more nicely with your pudding. Then I have 3 different types of coconut. I have the shredded coconut in bigger chunks, and then the smaller shredded coconut. And this one here, I actually took this, put this in the oven, the toaster oven, and toasted the coconut. It just gives it a nicer flavor. If you do toasted coconut, you have to watch it because there's a high oil content and it cooks pretty quickly. I have some walnuts here, and then this is how I made my chocolate pudding, was with my cacao powder. Here are my cacao nibs that I put in. I have cinnamon, and then the one that I'm going to show you today will have some bananas in it. And then I have my milk with me, and then there's that matcha. Culinary grade is what you want to look for with your matcha. Now I would like to prepare for you the base recipe for the chia pudding, and then one of my favorite ways to eat this, which is a banana walnut coconut version of the pudding. I wanted to add that this pudding can be enjoyed as a dessert. It can also be made the night before and eaten the next morning as a breakfast item. It's very nutritious to have any time of the day. It can also be a snack. And it might seem sinful and decadent. And once you know the nutritional value, you'll agree it is worthy and worth it. The items that you'll need for the base recipe of chia pudding, there's 3 things you'll need. You've got a cup of milk, and I prefer to use coconut milk, almond milk, or oat milk. And I like to have control over the sweetness, so I use unsweetened milk. Here is 1 cup of coconut milk. Coconut milk is a nice creamy texture. Then I have, now this depends, this is almost 1/4 of a cup of chia seeds, and it depends how thick you like your pudding. 1/4 of a cup to 1 cup is very thick pudding, and then a little less than 1/4 of a cup will be a little thinner. So once you start to make this, you can make a decision on what you prefer. So I add my chia seeds to my milk, and then right away, I want to stir this. And if you stir at the bottom of your cup, so I'm making these little circular patterns and I'm using the fork so that it'll move through the tines of the fork. I'm doing a very light, trying to create like a whirlpool action so that the chia seeds get drawn to the bottom of my cup. And if you'll see, they start to get drawn down. It's really important that you mix this up, especially in the beginning and then maybe a few minutes in, because the seeds can clump together. As they hydrate, it's like a gel that forms around them. And if a few of them are stuck together, they get really clumped up and you might get a big clump in yours. If you do, you could try to smash it down with a fork if not all the liquid has been absorbed yet, or you could just take that chunk out. In addition to having the recipes below and then the suggested options for the ones that I prepared for you today, I will also have the nutritional information, because for me, I love when I can read that there is so much nutrition in something that I'm making, and especially if it tastes this good. So now that I feel really good about how stirred up I have and got my chia seeds into my milk, the other option is if you have a small whisk, you could use a small whisk to help break up some of the potential clumps that may form. So here it is, all mixed together. You see an even distribution of the liquid with the seeds. I'd like to add the sweetener. Now, the sweeteners that I prefer to use, I like to use agave because it'll make my product vegan. And I mostly eat a very plant-rich diet. I sometimes eat some other items. Most of what I choose to eat is plant-rich, not necessarily plant-based exclusively, but plant-rich. They say that about a third cup of agave has the same sweetening potential as a whole cup of sugar. So you use less to get your sweetness. So I am going to add, I find that about a tablespoon, table and a third of maple syrup or sweetener is ideal. And so because I'm going to use agave, I'm going to go with half of that, which is about 2 teaspoons. So it would either be about 4 teaspoons if it were maple syrup, and I'm going to say with agave, probably about 2, maybe 3 teaspoons. And then you stir that up. And you're gonna let that rest, you're gonna let that sit, and you're gonna allow the chia seeds to absorb the coconut milk and the sweetness into them. Then in about 10 to 20 minutes, closer to 20 minutes, you're gonna have this thick, delicious pudding. It's now been 20 minutes, and I'd like you to see how thick my pudding has become. And then you'll notice, if you look at it from the side, you can see that the chia seeds that were small little black seeds have puffed up. And it kind of looks like tapioca. And it even has that consistency of tapioca. My favorite way to eat chia seed pudding is to use banana. So I have put in some banana. And in terms of how much, I'll have that below in the recipe section on how much banana to add. I took my banana and I really just mashed up my banana, made my banana as kind of spreadable, stirrable. I'm going to add my pudding to that, and then I'm going to stir that. I prepared my glass by rimming the sides of the glass with my sliced bananas. And when you're using banana, choose a really sweet banana. If you choose a sweet banana that has little brown spots on it, then you'll need less sweetener. Honestly, sometimes when I make this, I don't even add a sweetener. I just use my coconut milk with my seeds, and then the smashed up banana, or the mashed up banana, ends up being sweet enough for me. Once you have made this, you can pour your pudding into your cup. The recipe that I made is about either 2 really healthy servings, or it can be, well, I guess it could be 1 serving. I'm not a big fan of lots of sweet stuff. So I like to make, this will be enough for me. So here's that. And then to that, I'm going to add coconut. And I think I'll do coconut two ways. So there's my shredded coconut, and then I had made toasted coconut. I'll put that on top so that with each bite, I can get some coconut. And then I like to have some walnuts on top. So here are some walnuts that I'll cut and add there. You could have actually stirred in your coconut and your walnuts with your pudding, or you can choose to put it on top and then bring it in with each bite. Ta-da! There you have it, a delicious banana, coconut, walnut chia pudding. And then I'd like to taste what I've made. So delicious and so nutritious. If you would like to learn more recipes that are delicious and nutritious, subscribe right here below to my channel, and we could send you more information with more recipes. Thank you for joining me.